Hi everyone, I wanted to share with you my latest purchase, which is the LectroFan, and it's a small little electronic device that simulates the noise of a fan and also white noise, which block out noise that keep you from getting to sleep. And if you're like me, I'm very noise sensitive, and I've been searching for something, and I think this is my holy grail because I've been using it now for about 2 weeks, and 2 weeks of heaven. So I want to go through the different features of the little unit and also tell you why this is so much better than anything that I've used before. Okay, yes, that is a quarter in the middle of the speaker, and I just wanted to show you a size comparison. It's a pretty small unit, although you'll also notice that all the surface area on the top is taken up by the speaker. And all the good units like this one have an up-facing speaker as opposed to just one direction, pointing in one direction. The up-facing speakers, the noise hits the ceiling and then it surrounds the room, and it gives you a much more natural sound, and your brain really thinks that it's a real noise as opposed to electronically generated. One thing that I want to do now is we're going to take a close-up of these little controls and we'll go through the sounds together. Using the LectroFan is really simple. They've got these 3 little toggle switches that control all of the functions, so it's really simple to operate. The way that you turn it on is just to hit the top of the toggle switch. Now we're on the fan sounds right now, and one thing that I wanted to tell you about the sounds is that they are electronically generated by software and an algorithm, so no two sounds are ever the same, meaning that everything sounds realistic, as opposed to some units that use recordings that are on a loop. This does not loop the sounds, it generates them on the fly, so you get a much more realistic sound out of the unit, and therefore your brain thinks that it's real, and therefore it's much more effective. So it's got 10 individual fan sounds. We'll just kind of scroll through them real quickly. The good thing is that you can probably find a noise that is very similar to a fan that you're already using. So that's kind of cool. What's going to happen though is as I get to the upper reaches of the fans, you're going to hear a little noise that's going to tell you that you've reached the end of the 10 sounds. So let's go ahead and scroll through those till we get to there. That little whoop that you just heard, that means that you're starting back at the beginning of the sounds. And as you heard, very realistic and a lot of different fan sounds. We're going to go through the white noise, which are the ones that I kind of prefer over the fan sounds. So that's the very first white noise. It almost sounds like the beach to me. Now what's going to happen is the white noise sounds kind of just increase in pitch. And you're going to find one that's at the particular pitch that's going to drown out the sound that's causing you not to fall asleep. And there was that sound that tells me that I've gone a complete circle and I'm back at the very first one. I'm going to go ahead and turn the volume down a little bit. Now as far as these toggles, you can hold them down or you can just do it in little increments like I just did to get the perfect sound level that you need to block out the sound. Now what I found as far as its sound blocking capabilities is that it's great at conversations, TV sets, barking dogs, things that kind of float through the air. Things that are percussive, like somebody walking over your head, not so much, because that sound is actually transmitted through the subfloor and things like that in apartments. So it's much more effective at sounds that kind of just float through the air. Now the reason this is so much more effective than anything else that I've used is that the sounds, we're going to turn this off for a second. Oh, I almost forgot to tell you, it's got a timer, and for each time that you push on the toggle switch, it goes another 60 minutes. Now if you don't put the timer on, it'll go all night long. If you want to put the timer on, what happens, I'm going to push the volume up for just a second. The volume will just go down for just a second when you hit the 60-minute timer. Just that little gap lets you know that you've put the timer on. Now one thing that I would have liked to have seen is that I'm not sure how long I put the timer on sometimes. I'd like to see some little LEDs right there that let me know what my hours were, but it's definitely not a deal breaker, and of course I love this unit, but if these guys that invented the LectroFan are watching, they might want to think about that for a future enhancement. But at any rate, the reason this is so effective is that it's a constant sound, meaning that there are no gaps in the sound. With my sound machine that's got little meadows and the seashore and things like that, there are small gaps. Of course, when the waves break, then there's going to be a little bit of silence if you're listening to, a beach kind of thing. And that's where the conversation creeps in if somebody's in the next room or a TV set is on. So again, it's kind of like a fence that's not totally closed off. Sound gets through those little gaps, as opposed to, I'd say, a sound wall, which is what this puts up. This puts up a sound wall. So it's been so much more effective than anything that I've ever used before because of this constant sound. And of course, because the sounds are so lifelike, my brain actually thinks these are the true sounds, and it doesn't give a second thought to it. Again, it's really portable. You can take it on the road. You can't take a fan on the road. You can probably find a fan noise that you're already familiar with. And of course, like me, I like the white noise that totally block things out. So again, this is the best unit that I've ever used as far as blocking out noise. I've used it now for about 2 weeks and never slept better. So if you have the same problem that I do and that noise bothers you, give this baby a try. You won't regret it. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. Take care.